Yo. Alright, so we gonna come in. We've already started it, but it's about time that we start giving this a little prune up. One thing that I notice about this tree is whenever it's ready for a little prune up and to pretty much just get a little bit lighter on the leaves, it'll end up blowing down in the wind since the base isn't wide enough for as tall as the tree is. So we're going through and cutting off some of the elongate leaves, the damaged leaves, pretty much just cleaning it up like we did with that other maple. So we're just gonna show you it right now, and then we'll tune in with you guys after we're done. We'll pretty much just come here and let you guys see real quick what we're doing, and then we're gonna get back at it. So I always normally like to start from the top and work my way down when working on a tree. So as you've seen, here we've already started getting rid of some of the lower leaves, push that up, and then we're going to pretty much get a lot of these leaves out of here because we want most of the energy go to the roots since we're getting to about the last month of the air layer process. Because around September, near the end of September, we're going to check out the air layers. I know that I have at least one that's already rooted. I did 2 this season, so even if we have 1 out of 2 that root, then that's a 50% success rate on the air layer. I'm okay with that. I'll just be pretty happy if it's rooted because I already know that top part will make a beautiful bonsai one day. But if not, then we'll go ahead, just chop it off and continue developing the rest of it. So for now, I'm not going to be cutting any branches, not going to be doing any major cuts. Did that already. When I first got the tree, we had a branch right here that came all the way out. It was longer than any of these branches because I already gone through and cut back the branches. As you can go ahead and see, we've already cut back. That happened like 2 months ago maybe. Like I said, I've been focusing on living life instead of just making YouTube videos. Now it's getting to a stage but I was just itching, just want to get back into the YouTube. Because like I said, it's fun for me. So that's why I do. I don't just do this shit for the views like some people. So you'll never see me do something that's going to be, I don't even know. We ain't even go down that route. But anyways, we're just going to go ahead and clean up this tree. Prune it up. So that 1, it'll stop falling over. And 2, it can go ahead and get some more light in there. And since I haven't really done a cleanup prune this season with it, just been letting it grow and establish. But I did cut back the branches like a month or 2 ago because they're starting to get pretty long. This one right here was almost all the way up as tall as the tree. I do still have the first picture I took when I got this tree, so I'll go ahead and post that up with it now instead of doing it in with the walkthrough. I'm gonna just post the first pictures when I do individual videos of the tree, so you can see how it was going before and how it's going now. But anyways, we're gonna get back into it, and I'll see y'all when we're done. Peace out. And there we have it. We took off maybe about 40% to 50% of the foliage. As you can see, the leaves are now on the ground. So now it's just gonna be resting for the rest of the season. I don't really like to do a whole bunch of work on my trees throughout the season. As you guys have been able to maybe tell from the first 2 pruning videos, is I like to just let them overgrow and then go back and give them a hard prune. You only want to make sure you do this if your tree is healthy. And as you guys can see, whole bunch of new growth, looking amazing, still budding out, which is why I thought it was perfect time to go ahead and do it. We're in about the middle of August. I'm pretty sure I'm in zone 7A or 7B. I don't know. I'll double check because I don't want to give you guys any false information. But there we have it. And we're going to go ahead and water the trees now. You want to make sure that you do never water your trees in full sun. If the sun is out and bright and shining down on your trees, do not let a droplet of water get on it because it will fry them and burn them. But as you can see, we're covered in shade, so we're good to go. So I'll let you guys go ahead and get a walkthrough on the watering process. You want to make sure that when you water your tree, you do not overwater it or underwater it, because both will kill it. You want to find the balance on what the tree likes. And how you do that? By coming over and just checking the soil. You want to go ahead and put a finger in. That's still a little bit moist, so we're not going to go ahead and give it too much water right now. But if we come over here to this one is pretty much bone dry. So we want to go ahead and soak that up. And then you just want to go through and just fill the soil of your trees, as well as observe their leaves. The more that you are aware and observing your trees, you'll be able to tell. The tree will let you know when it's pretty much dehydrated and asking for water. I don't normally water them in the summertime when it's very hot, 90 plus, at least 2 times a day. At least 1 in the morning, once at night, or I would do it 2 different times at night, depending on how my schedule is going for the day. But we'll go ahead and pull that leaf out there. We can go ahead and just give the trees a good watering real quick, since it's been a pretty hot day, and we just added them some Epsom salt. You want to make sure if you're using your hose water, check the pH level of your water. You don't want to be feeding your trees anything that's going to harm them. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead, turn the hose on, make sure it's cold water, yup, and then just go ahead and make sure your trees get nice good water. And then you'll see that as the Epsom salt dissolves through the watering, and it'll go down into the soil, which is exactly what we want. Well, remember that these trees are a little bit they're a lot different than like a cactus. They love water. So you want to make sure that you never let the soil go dry, because an underwater will kill a tree a lot quicker than an overwater. You just want to make sure that if the soil's pretty wet still, just don't water it, because you will be in a chance of going in and giving it too much, and you don't want to cause root rot. In these containers, the roots only have so far they can go, so you gotta be a little bit more critique, I guess, on how you care for them, so you don't end up killing it off. Oh, we also went ahead, last time we were away from you guys, we went ahead and cleaned up this one a bit, cut off some of the foliage, especially the dead leaves that are hardened off or ready to come off. We just went ahead, plucked it, cleaned it up a little bit, get some room for some more light in there. You guys know how it goes by now. The Gringo tree doesn't really take too much water, so I just normally just go ahead, just give it a little sprinkle, since it's been a pretty hot day. The trees like to say get some water, it's like you and I. You know how when you're outside on a hot ass day, especially for my sport players, y'all already know, if you go to practice without some water 2 a days midsummer, you're gonna die. The trees are the same exact way. They, unlike you and I, they can't really walk into shade themselves. So you want to make sure that if they are in full sun, like mine are at the time being, you really do go ahead and make sure they get plenty of water, because they'll dry out a lot quicker. I did have a shade tarp in the beginning of the season, but there was a bad storm that came by one day, and I was out at work, didn't have the tarp secured down, ended up blowing away and breaking. And that shit was crazy. Just glad that none of the trees were damaged in the process, because when I got back, a lot of them were tipped over. Some of the seedlings had gotten squashed, so I was pretty fearful that we had lost some seeds, but nah, they're pretty strong, so they're still out here flourishing. But yeah, next I think we're gonna go ahead, probably clean up this tree. I don't normally like to do my pruning based on the time of the season. I like to go off of how the tree is responding. And if they're going out getting some pretty solid growth, if it just looks like your tree's getting a little overgrown, especially like this one was, then it's all right to go ahead and get a pruner and go ahead and make a couple cuts. Make sure that you are selective and you're paying attention with it. I went through and I opened up the branching. I want to go ahead and thicken it out some. And there's also some branching that was starting to come out from the stems. I went up and cleaned and took it off. Just try to keep the tree growing in the style that it is, and also to help it from blowing over and tipping over. And because there's some bud back here on the tree that in all reality is really what I'm trying to get going with this one, is get it to bud back, which is why we're going to take this top off, throwing it down, and then we're probably going to start the canopy. I don't know if we're going to keep this branch or if this branch will go, but we'll figure it out as the time comes. But I know that where that air layer is and down, that's going to be the tree for the bonsai that we will be training. Now it's got to keep it alive and growing so I can develop through the days. Yeah, you just want to go ahead and give your trees a nice water on some hot day. They love it. Yeah, like I said, go ahead, just go through and make sure to water your seed. We weren't gonna give that one too much water. Yeah. Some of the bigger maples, they take a lot more water than the younger ones, which explains itself pretty much. But for those that may not know, the bigger the tree is, the more roots it has, the more nutrients it is going to need to push on. As you can see, once they get the water, they look sounding beautiful. And one way that I don't normally observe my tree to see how it's doing, that I mentioned about the leaves, will let you know, is if it starts getting a little bit droopy. Like your leaves, they're gonna almost stay up in the air when they got plenty of water, and when they're a little bit thirsty, they're gonna start drooping down and look a little bit dull. It's pretty much the tree's way of saying water me. You just want to remember, an underwater tree will die a lot faster than an overwater tree. And one thing you want to keep in mind is that the trunk has room to breathe. And I'll go ahead and show you what I mean by that after we're done with this watering. And as you guys can see, the tree that we pruned. Now we gotta figure out some names for these, because I can't just title every Japanese pruning video Japanese pruning. So we'll go ahead and we'll figure out something creative. Maybe start a playlist for each individual tree that we work with. If there's any tree in specific that you guys really want to see work on, let me know, and we'll make sure to go ahead and feature that. Like I said, not all the work that I do on these trees will be on YouTube, but I'll make sure to keep you guys updated with the progression of the Mystical Garden. And I say mystical because the life around us is very, very mysterious and very fascinating, and it's very beautiful, so I call it mystical. You don't have to agree with me, that's perfectly fine, but for those that understand, I'm gonna just let y'all hear something for the ones that be saying tune. There's times where I'll be out here in the garden, I kid you not, I'll be seeing like shit, I don't want to say I'm call them bugs, but I swear they ain't fucking bugs. Like, it's not like a mosquito or a fly. Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it'll be looking like some fairies and shit. That's why we calling this shit the mystical garden. Y'all just gotta pay attention to what you attract, what you consume, and what you allow into your life at the end of the day. So go ahead and take care of y'all's land, take care of your life, and watch as it grows. One love, y'all. And there you have it. See y'all in the next video. Be life out. Yeah, that tree looking mighty marvelous. And just keep in mind, I haven't watered any of this, and you can already see how there's some nice bends in there. The trees will grow how they want to grow. Sometimes we ain't gotta do too much. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can do too much. We ain't gotta do that much, for real, for real. Just gotta keep up with its needs. Give it the pruning when it comes time, so that it can continue sprouting and developing the areas that you want to. And that's where you see different style of trees in the form of bonsai, or in the art form of bonsai, that comes from the different cuts and the different development. Every artist will essentially almost grow a tree a little bit different than the other one. It's all just pretty much on how they want to go about it. The only rules that there are is to it is that you keep the tree alive. Anyways, we'll see y'all later. One love.